Hey, how's it going out there in the YouTube land? I am sitting outside in this beautiful weather today and I decided to make a video. So, my name is Anthony Miller, and basically, I see a lot of people doing videos online and they're having fun talking about the things that they enjoy, and I pretty much want to do the same. So, um, my channel, this channel here, and the videos that I shoot will be basically about um, the things I enjoy. Like I read the Bible, and I enjoy reading the Bible, studying the scriptures, and just looking at other Bibles that are out there, and talking about them, books from scholars throughout history. So that's what I'm going to do here, okay? So I'm going to just be talking. That's it. And it's going to be fun for me, and I hope you enjoy it. And so let's get started. In this video right here, I want to talk about this book right here. Right? It's by John Calvin. It's the Institute for Christian Religions. It's volume 1. One of my mentors gave me this 2-volume set of John Calvin. Awesome. I just read a section a day. I read it as devotion. And as I'm reading it, I'm finding out, like, I read through it real fast. Like, I think last year was, maybe the year before. And I read through it, just picked it up and I just read it. And then my mentor, Henry, bless him, I love him. He gave me, like I said, he gave me this here, this 2-volume set. He said, Anthony, why don't you just read it as a devotional, read one section a day? And, he said, that's what I did. And I got a lot out of it. So I said, all right, let me try that. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing it now for a while, and it is just, I'm picking up so much more than I missed when I first read through it, of course, because it's so dense, it's so thick. And John Calvin was such a thinker, and he puts so much in, like, in just some words. Like, as you see, I'm just going to look at the first chapter, okay, in the first section, and you're going to see I'm bouncing around because I got bugs flying on me. It's nice, and just had church, and I'm sitting out here now on the patio, and these bugs, it's kind of damp and dewy, so excuse my movements, but it's live. Okay. All right, so anyway, in the first chapter, in the very first line, John Calvin, he starts out deep. Like here, it says chapter 1, book 1, chapter 1, the knowledge of God, the Creator. It goes, chapter 1, the knowledge of God and that of ourselves are connected, how they are interrelated. And then here's the very first section, all right? Without knowledge of self, there is no knowledge of God. Now that's just the heading. That's just the heading. Like, if you really sat back and thought about it, and we should, without the knowledge of God, you really can't know yourself, and that is so true. We can know ourselves to a certain extent. I know I like ice cream. I know I like red as one of my favorite colors. I know I like to read. I love books. But there's a deeper side of me that I will never understand if I deny, or I just turn a blind eye to the fact that God does exist. Like, even John Calvin, he touches on it when he's talking about even the sinner, the sinner, the believer, the unbeliever, both. You can only know yourself to the extent of that you understand that there is a God. Like, that's the whole anthropology of man. It's biblical anthropology. And if you deny biblical anthropology, like the biblical study of who man is, where do we come from? Well, we come from God. We come from him. He made man. He's the one that began all things. And if you're an evolutionist, and you don't believe that, then you're missing such a huge part of who you are and where you come from, and how that ties you and connects you to all creation and to the Creator himself. Like, even our gifts, John Calvin talks about our gifts, and he says, look at your gifts. Like, even your gifts, they're not yours. They didn't come from you. They came from God. You may have developed them through study or practice, but all of our gifts come from God. Right? All of them. And just in that one study, right when I like taking notes in my Bible and in my books. So in here, right off just that one title, without knowledge of self, there is no knowledge of God, right? Because he flips that in the second, without knowledge of God, there is no knowledge of self. And I'm sort of blending them two together right now because they do go together. Yeah, but without knowledge of self, knowing who you are, where you come from, knowing that God is that person that created us, then you're missing such a huge part of yourself. Now, I had to put a footnote here. If you don't know where you come from, you cannot truly know yourself. If you deny biblical anthropology, you are missing a part of who you are. Now that, and again, I put that footnote with just the title. And I believe that if we can understand that and get that little piece, it will help out a lot more. John Calvin also goes on to say how it's not until a person experiences pain, loss, they have I call it misery loves company, all right? Until you become miserable, that you won't turn to God. And how many of us, I believe that God uses pain, he uses our misery as a tool to sometimes, not all the time, but he can use, and he may use misery as a tool to attract people to himself. Because it's when we are hurting that we do turn to God. And Calvin expresses the fact that you should have turned to him long before that you experienced that misery. And I mean, like, how can you argue with that? You really can't. And it's such a good expression on how he goes about opening this book in the very first chapter. As long as we think that we're happy, then some of us, as long as we think that we're happy, then we feel as though we don't need God. As long as we feel as though that we can handle the situations, we don't need God. But when we admit to ourselves that God is there for us no matter what, he's there in our misery, he's there in our joy, then we can allow for that understanding to guide us, that we should turn to God even in all points of our life, good, bad, happy, sad. God has to be acknowledged because he is the great God, the great creator. Okay? So that right there is just the first section of John Calvin's Institute of Christian Religion. It's just that first, and it's so meaty. And I hope that you can get something out of that just like I have. And man, it's just awesome to be able to sit back and read about what God can do. Like, I'm sitting outside right now, and it's just like, man, God is everywhere. Like, you can see the bugs, the grass, the trees, the squirrels playing and rolling and tussling. I mean, it's just awesome. God is awesome. All right, so this is Sunday. Y'all guys have a great day and a God bless day. Do your video churching, do your live church, whatever y'all do out there, but just be safe. And yeah, God bless ya. All right. Now, like I said, this is my first time coming on here doing something like this. So, like, for my channel, for a channel, trying to build it up. So, if you like it, go ahead and subscribe to it. I appreciate it. And whenever I throw up a video, you guys will get that invitation to come on out and watch it and just see what it turns into. I'm just going to have fun with it. All right? Alrighty. God bless. Have a good one. Bye-bye.